वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. I welcome everyone who are in the temple as well as who are seeing this online. We are going further in our study of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of our study is to be happy. If somebody asks why you are studying, so you want to be happy. You want to be happy here. You do not have aspiration that I will be happy in the heaven. I want to be happy here. What kind of life I should be living, and what kind of this whole journey from birth to death should be behave. How should we behave? How should we correlate with the people? How should we correlate with the nature? So it is called as man versus man, man versus people, and man versus nature. So these three things which how we are supposed to be doing is told over here, and we are trying to understand it. The whole thing started with a question from Arjun that whether I should be fighting or not, whether I should go with the war and kill all my kith and kings. That is a question, and in that respect we are in our journey. We are on our third chapter, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga Nama Trutiyo Adhyaya. And in Karma Yoga, we were on the 7th sloka, where God is explaining the whole Karma Yoga word is for understanding how we should be acting and behaving in our life. That is what is the main purpose of understanding this whole Karma Yoga. So, and it is not only Arjun, it is seen that even in the Western civilizations and culture also, to be or not to be, Shakespeare, he told Hamlet, whether he should do or he should not do. To be or not to be is a big question. And so, how I should be is answered in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. We already talked about it multiple times that Sanatana Dharma is a what is called as a progressive idealism. So it is applicable in every time. It is not that it is only told that you do it this way, otherwise you will go to heaven or hell. It is told that you do with the understanding, and that understanding we are trying to develop through the understanding of the Karma Yoga slokas. So we were on the 7th sloka, and I will chant the sloka again today, and then we will go further from that. Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhate arjuna karmendriyai karma yogam asakta sa vishishyate. And the meaning was, those karma yogis who control their knowledge senses with the mind and engage the working senses in working without the attachment. These are superior. Who are superior? These are the people who are superior, who do this one. So this mechanism, in Hindi we can say, हे अर्जुन, जो मनुष्य मन से इंद्रियों पर नियंत्रण करके आसक्ति रहित होकर निष्काम भाव से समस्त इंद्रियों के द्वारा कर्म योग का आचरण करता है, वही श्रेष्ठ है. This is the translation in Hindi. So we were going through the mechanism. It is like this. If we buy a car, unless we know how each portion of the car is working, we cannot drive the car. We should know how the steering is, how it is working, how the controls are, where are the brake pedals, if there is a clutch or gear to be changed, is it automatic car, what is the reflexes, like how much time does it take to brake, is it a heavy truck or is it a small vehicle. Unless we understand it, we cannot drive safely and comfortably. In the same way, as we have already seen, that our body is a sadhan. Our body is an instrument. So we should know how this instrument is working. Unless we understand how the instrument is working, we cannot operate it in a correct way. So here God has explained how to operate the body. So here one thing is very clear, what we talked last time is that actions are done through senses, but the feeling of the actions is happening in the mind. A eye will see, our eyes will see, our tongue will touch, taste, but the feeling of the taste is in the mind, it is not in the indriya. The feeling of the taste is in the and the selection of choices and preferences is happening in the mind. It is not happening in the organ itself. That is why if a person is having the brain damage, then in that case what happens is that a person cannot have a taste or a person cannot hear. So even though the organ is there, the sensing in the mind is not there, and that is why we cannot have the understanding of the external experiences. So the actions are done through the senses, but the feelings of the action is happening in the mind. This is the first thing, that is how our body is working. And then we saw the different ways of attaching and detaching actions, and we talked about the duty versus law. What is the difference and how will it work? And we took the example of a nurse and the mother. The other example we took is a comparison and versus enjoyment, and we talked about it as in future and past. Whenever, suppose I go to a restaurant and I'm ordering some food, when I'm eating it, if my mind is occupied in the comparison, like, oh, the earlier restaurant was giving me a better taste than this restaurant, then I will not be able to enjoy my present food. Similarly, if I am always in the future, oh, I should have this, I should have that, then I cannot enjoy my present situation, my present experiences. So that is what we talked about, the feeling of comparison versus enjoyment. Enjoyment is there when we live in present. When we live in comparison, which is past or future, then we cannot enjoy our life. So being in past or future while doing the action is not a right way. So again, also we talked about detachment doesn't mean being dead, being non-sensitive. Detachment doesn't mean being non-sensitive. If somebody says that I am detached, so I do not have any senses, I do not feel anything, there is so much wrong happening in the world, but I am detached from the संसार. हाँ, हमने संसार को त्याग दिया, इसलिए संसार में जो कुछ भी हो रहा है उससे मुझे कुछ लेना देना नहीं. If there is a drought, there is a famine, there is lots of disease happening, people are poor and hungry, and if I do not feel anything, that doesn't mean that I am detached. Detachment doesn't mean non-sensitivity. Detachment doesn't mean being a dead person. That is what we talked last time. So here, let us understand the mechanism of our body. So mind is superior and mind should control over the senses. This is what it is, we can conclude from here. Because it is a mind who is getting attached, it is a mind who is understanding the feelings. But let us understand it more, and last time that is why we talked about the example of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita picture. This picture is very, very symbolic and to be understood in a very simple way. And everybody knows, sometimes it is better to unlearn and then learn, because if you have learned halfway, then we cannot understand, or we cannot grasp more details when it comes to us. So let us go from the basics. So here the word manasa, yastindriyani manasa, the mind. So here the mind which is controlling the intellect, the mind which is to be controlled by intellect, so which is buddhi. So here we need to understand how the operation in our mind is happening. So number one is why in the Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, all of those books, we always see that there is a chariot. So there are horses and Bhagwan Krishna is holding the reins and he is controlling the horses, and Arjuna is sitting in the chariot. That is a picture we have always seen. And then there are depending on the people and depending on the painter or the guy who has painted the picture, there are sometimes 4 horses, sometimes there are 5 horses. And then people will start discussing, oh, there are 4 or 5. What should be, whether there should be 4 or there should be 5. If we are taking that metaphor of chariot, there should be 5 horses. And why these are 5 horses? Because we have got 5 organs. We have got 5 organs which are our Jnanendriya, the sensing organ, and we have got 5 other organs which are Karmendriya, which are action organs. Now, the 5 horses, why there are not 10 horses? If somebody says that if my mind is controlling the Indriya, mind is controlling the senses, then all 10 senses should be controlled by the mind. Then why the representation is done with the 5 horses and not 10 horses? So, here in the sloka itself it is telling Karmendriyai Karma Yogam. Yes. So, let us understand the mechanism of the Indriya, the senses, the sense organs and the mind. So, let us first take the physiology part of the mind and sense organs, and then we will take the psychology part of the mind and sense organs. So, if the horses are senses, they need, so number one part is, if somebody says that because of the Indriya I am having the problem, they are getting me in attachment, I will just kill it. Like I will poke the things in my eyes and eyes cannot see. That will not be possible in practical way as well as in to live a life also. Because Indriyas are required. If we say that we will kill all the horses, then how will a chariot run? So we must have the Indriya, we must have all the senses. That is number one part. Now, these horses, we have got 5 horses which are Jnanendriya, which are our sensing senses, sensing organs. And these sensing organs are eyes, which we see, nose, we smell, ears, we hear, tongue, which we taste, and skin, with feeling of the touch. These are 5 senses of Jnanendriya. To understand, to connect with the external world, these are 5 senses for us. And these senses are giving us the experience. Whatever experience we have in our life is through these 5 senses. Whatever memory we have is through these 5 senses. It is important to understand here that these senses doesn't do any work. They are not the action senses. They do not do anything. Yeah, we can say that an eye is seeing, but that is part of sensing, it is not part of doing the thing. So God has given us the other 5 karmendriya, which is the action senses. And these are hands to grab, legs to walk and run, tongue and mouth to speak, genitals to reproduce, and excretory organs to eat and do the excretion work. These are the 5 organs to do the karmendriya. Through these 5 organs, we are doing the actions. Now, important part is these 5 organs doesn't feel. They do, but they don't feel. So somebody will ask a question that, no, but when I grab say for example a apple in my hand, I can feel that my hand is holding. No, it is not the hand who is feeling it, it is the skin who is feeling it. Similarly, when I see when I am running, my legs are running, I am feeling the thumping and I am feeling the the pain or the sweating in my leg, but it is through the skin, which is through the sense organ. So actually my hand, my legs and my mouth who is speaking is not actually sensing the thing. It is only doing, it is not giving any experience in the mind. It is not giving any experience in the mind. This is a mechanism. And that is why it is just bringing the objects in contact with the Jnanendriya. If I am seeing a good flower, the mind will see it and mind will tell my hand that okay, go to the flower and pick it up. So my hand will go and pick it up. My hand doesn't know whether it is a flower or it is a utensil. It is an eye. It is our eyes which are telling us that what object it is. So it is important to understand what is the mechanism, the physiology of the human chariot. What is the physiology? So with the Jnanendriya, it is the experiences which leads us to the craving or attachment or joy or sorrow. It is the Jnanendriya which are making us to connect. It is not the Karmendriya. If I have lifted a flower with my hand will not ask again to lift the flower. My hand will merely be an instrument to work on it. Hand or any other karmendriya, any other action organs, action senses doesn't give any experiences or attachment to the mind. This is important part. So all the animals live for and through the experiences. All the animals are only with the sensing and they go with the sensing. Yeah. There is a historical a story there. What happened is that we had a very big sage. His name was Yagyavalkya. Actually, we are all whatever we are following, as an Indian culture, majority of them is by the study of Yagyavalkya. He was a very big sage, a very big guy. He did a lot of work. He was a scientist. He was a scientist and he did the research in multiple areas. So one day he was doing the research on tigers. And he was doing the research on tigers about how does a tiger track the movement and track the for killing the animals. How do they catch their prey? So he was studying. He was studying about how does a tiger is doing the smelling. What is the method? How they do they smell and how do they track? He was so much engrossed in the study. And to study that, naturally you have to go to a forest where there are so many tigers. So he was in a forest and he was studying. He was studying the the tigers pee and all. You can find it in the Google how the tigers track. So he was studying all that, and he was so much engrossed that a real tiger came near to him and he couldn't even see it, because he was completely focused in the study. And the tiger jumped to kill him. But in the same time, what happened that the king Janak, who was the father of our mother Sita Ma ke Pitaji, Janak Maharaj. So when the Janak came, when the Janak came and he saw that this tiger is jumping on Yagyavalkya, Janak killed the tiger. And that is how they got connected, and then they introduce each other, and then Yagyavalkya goes to Janak court, and all that story is further. But the point was that animals go by their instinct. Animals only uses the instinct. They do not get attached. So when a tiger is killing a deer, while eating the deer, the tiger will not remember, oh, yesterday's deer was more tastier. It will not go there. So animal instinct, the animals go by the instinct. Animals doesn't go by the attachment. It is only the humans. Why? Because we have got a free will. So this is another mechanism which we have. So in that metaphor of the chariot, there are 5 horses which are called as a senses. Which senses it is? It is karmendriya. It is not jnanendriya. Because going further, going towards doing an action, going like a horse needs a karmendriya. It needs the action organs, action senses, and not the jnanendriya, the knowledge senses, the experience senses. Why? Because imagine that if just if there is a charioteer and charioteer wants to go on the right side, then charioteer will move the reins in such a way that the horse will turn on the right side. What will happen in that case? How the mechanism is happening? It is the eyes which are seeing. The charioteer is seeing by the eyes, but the action is done through the reins, the movement of the hand. So to control or to move further in the life, every second we need the actions, and those actions are done by the karmendriya. This is the physiological mechanism. And the reins are called as a mind. So the mind is controlling the action organs. The reins are action organs. Now we know that the reins are dead. Reins themselves doesn't do anything. If you just leave the reins loose, the horses will go anywhere. Horses will not be controlled. So the mind is a reins and the organs are horses. But the charioteer, the driver of the chariot is the intellect. He or she should be seeing how and which rein should be pulled so that the horses go in the desired direction. Mind cannot control the Gyanendriyas. This is very important to understand. The Gyanendriyas, our sense organs, cannot be controlled. It is totally uncontrollable. Why? There are reasons for it, and we will look at it. So first let us understand, if my eye is seeing something, I cannot tell my eye not to see. I cannot stop it. Yes, how I can stop? I will tell my eyelids to close the eyes. But eyes itself will not stop seeing. If there is a fragrance coming, I cannot stop my nose. My nose will keep having the fragrance and telling my mind that there is a fragrance. So the sense organs cannot be controlled. This is first thing to understand. Sense organs cannot be controlled. If there is somebody touching my skin, I will have the sensing. Senses will tell me that somebody is touching me. Controlling the sense organs is impossible. And there is a reason for it. Because if the controlling happens, then what will happen? Our life will be in jeopardy. Our life will be in jeopardy. If while eating I am getting a chili in my mouth and it is too much hot, then the tongue will always tell my mind that it is very hot chili in the mouth. You cannot say the tongue that stop sensing and don't tell me that it is not hot. We cannot. So number one part is that the sense organs cannot be controlled, cannot be stopped. Number one part. Very, very important part. So when the reins, when the mind, the reins of the chariot are to be controlling, those 5 horses are action organs and they are not the sense organs. That is why, otherwise somebody can ask, I always used to ask when I was young, I used to ask, Acha ye indriya hai, if these are indriya, then we have got 10 indriyas. Why there are only 5 horses? Why not 10 horses? Why there are not 10 horses? Why there are only 5 horses? If indriyas are to be controlled, there should be all 10 horses should be there. All 10 senses. But we cannot. We cannot control our sense organs. We can only control our action organs. So this is the physiology part of the chariot. Physiology part of our body. That we can control our action organs, but we cannot control our sense organs. Sense organs gives us experience. Action organs gives us the movement, how to go further in the life. So these are the 2 factors which we have to understand as a physiology of the chariot, physiology of the human chariot. Now we will go with the second part, which is psychology part of the human chariot. In the psychology part, the reins are dead. So unless there is an operator, like a steering of a car can be controlled, unless there is an operator, only reins left loose will not work. It will not allow the chariot to go in the correct direction. So because there is a charioteer who is operating the reins, there is a life, what is called as a chaitanya, and there should be a action. There should be a person who is doing the action in the life, and that is what the charioteer is. Depending on how good or bad the driver is, depending on that, the decision will be taken, the reins will be operated, and the senses will go further in the life. And depending on that Sarathi, the charioteer, our life will be decided whether it will be comfortable, it will be good. Just like we know how a better driver can make our drive very comfortable or very difficult. Now, mind has likes and dislikes. Whereas the intellect will say what is good or bad, what is correct or wrong. The intellect is the tool which is going to decide. The decision should be in the intellect. If the imagine if there is a car and the car itself is deciding where to go, how can we safely drive into the car? So there is a decision. What is happening in the mind. There is but somebody will say, but mind is also deciding. Definitely, decision of the mind. Some part of the decision power is given to the mind. Let us take an example. Why God has made it. Imagine we are walking on the street or we are somewhere in a place and somebody is suddenly shouting, snake, snake, there is a snake, saap aa gaya, there is a snake. What happens? We jump, we run around, we run away from the place. At that time, the mind, the man is taking the decision. Imagine if we have all the decisions to be taken by the intellect. Buddhi se hi decision lena hoga. Then what will happen? The mind will first ask, is that really a snake or it is a rope? If it is a snake, it is poisonous or non-poisonous? Is it very near to me or it is far? It is water snake or this snake? Is it biteable or it is a pet snake? Every questions will come in the intellect, and then unless you just try to answer that and look around and all, snake will already bite you. So intellect takes time. Intellect takes time to decide, and in case of an unsafe situation, we cannot have a time. Fire, everybody will run out of the room. They should, otherwise the life is in jeopardy. That is why mind has been given a power for a spontaneous decision in case of an emergency. That is a power. That is why mind has been given a power to decide. Yeah, same way safety. If we are walking and suddenly we are trying to topple over, mind will have to immediately balance us. That is why, as even in physiology, people who are learning the medicine and all, the decision is taken by some part which is in our body, in our spinal cord. It is at the lower part of the spinal cord which decides in case of such emergencies, like balancing. If when we are walking, somebody pushes us, we do not fall down. We immediately have our legs going further or some way, or we try to grab something. What gives the command? Is it the intellect which gives command? No. Does it the mind give command? Even mind is not giving command. At that time, the reflexes. That is why the word is called as a reflexes. Sometimes the people who are in coma, they start moving. And people say, oh, he come out of coma. Then doctor says, no, he is not coming out of coma. These are reflexes. These are the part of the spinal cord. So, in the psychology part of the mind also, when there is a unsafe condition, the mind has to decide, and that is why mind is given some part of the decision making power. That is what is given. And second part is, if mind is non-sensitive, everything has to be understood in the intellect, then the life becomes non-enjoyable. The life is enjoyable only because our mind is happy. Intellect never becomes happy. Intellect is to decide. Right, wrong, correct, incorrect, true, untrue, legible, not legible, should we do, should not we do. That is the intellect. It is the mind who is deciding. A simple example is that when we are eating a good samosa or some food, it is the mind who is telling us that I am happy. It is not intellect who is telling happy. Intellect will say what is the shape of the samosa, whether it is hot or not, touch it and see it. If it is hot, okay, eat after some time. All these decisions are taken by the intellect, buddhi. Buddhi decision लेती है, मगर mind कहता है समोसे tasty हैं. So a mind should have some part of a control and sensing. Otherwise we cannot enjoy eating sweet, eating chocolate. Yeah. I remember a very funny incident. When I was young, I was a bachelor guy, and I went to one of my friends' place who was a married person, and he had a very young daughter, 3-year-old daughter, 4-year-old daughter. So I went with a chocolate box because she's a young girl, good with a chocolate box. So I went over there and I told her, hey, do you like chocolate and all that? And naturally all kids love chocolate, so she also liked chocolate. But then the daughter told me, I asked her and she told me, no, I should not eat chocolate. because chocolates make the decay in the teeth and my teeth will become decayed. And I told my friend that, you know what, you spoiled the happiness of your daughter. Let her eat chocolate. You cannot have the fun and enjoyment of eating chocolate at an older age. Yes, it will be there, but the fun at a younger age, the taste of sweetness at that young tongue at a young age is much different. Let her do the brushing and all. So what happened here is that the daughter's intellect was so much oppressed that chocolate must not be eaten. So even though the mind is telling that chocolate is tasty, daughter will not eat chocolate. Daughter will not enjoy the chocolate. This example is showing that the mind enjoys the experiences and it is not the intellect which enjoys the experiences. This psychological mechanism has to be understood very well, and that is why it is important that both intellect and mind should be used while working in the life. That is why in a chariot there are reins and also a charioteer. Horses with only reins and no charioteer will not work. Horses and charioteer without reins will not work. We need both charioteer and reins. हमें बुद्धि और मन दोनों की जरूरत है to run the chariot in a proper direction. दोनों की जरूरत है. Our travel experiences. Yeah. So somebody will say, okay, so if both are used, how does it happen? So there are three levels. There are three levels of psychology which says how we work. Number one is, which is almost like an animal, uncontrolled horses. So there are no reins and charioteer and the person in the chariot is just sitting helplessly. It is only by the senses a person is running. Uncontrolled horses. It doesn't listen to mind, it doesn't listen to the intellect. And here the things are like drug addiction, lust, murdering of a person, extreme emotions, the surge of emotions, a spontaneous surge of emotions, high state of hormones and animal instinct. When this happens, it is only the indriya, it is only the horses, it is only the action senses. Remember, it's not the sensing organs, it is the action organs. They react. And when they react, generally it turns into a disaster. Because there is no thought put behind it. There is absolutely no thinking done behind it. This is level one, the lowest level. Any decision which is taken, that is why we are telling, krodh mein kabhi bhi decision mat lo. Do not take decision while you are angry. Why? Because the thinking power is stopped. There is no thinking power left. That is level one, uncontrolled horses. Level two, the horses are there, the reins are there. Means mind bhi hai or indriya bhi hai. Senses are controlled by the mind. But the action is based on the likes and dislikes. मुझे अच्छा लगता है वही करूँगा. मुझे गुलाब जामुन अच्छे लगते हैं. I like to eat gulab jamun, I will eat even though I have got a acute diabetes. Why? Because the decision is taken by the mind, the likes and dislikes. There is no intelligence. And this level 2, which takes liking, disliking, favorable, comfortable. There are so many, in each word there is so much of thinking there. It should be liked by me. I should like it. Means, how do you say you like? With the comparison with the previous experience. आपको गुलाब जामुन पसंद है? कैसे पता चला? पहले खाए थे. That is how you learn. That is why likes and dislikes are coming. If you have never tasted a dish, you will never develop a like and dislike. So mind takes as a likes and dislikes. Then favorable and non-favorable. बहुत गर्मी है, एयर कंडीशनर चालू करो. बहुत सर्दी है, अच्छा सा जैकेट डालो. Why? It's comfortable. The body, the sense organ says that this is comfortable or not comfortable. So that is the second part. Each word is actually zipped. If we go in detail, it will become very long and also, I think, boring. So I don't want to go into. Then last, in the same way, the comfortable. And then now is also a big word. Abhi chahiye, abhi chahiye. I want money now. That is where the children and teenagers are coming. मुझे I want the latest iPhone now. मुझे अभी चाहिए. Because abhi will make me happy. Tomorrow will not make me happy. In English there is a nice proverb or say that jam yesterday, jam tomorrow, no jam today. A little girl likes to eat so much of jam. You know the fruit jam? So she likes to eat the fruit jam. And she says, Mama, every day, give me jam, it is sweet. So she likes strawberry jam, marmalade, whatever type. And the mother says, no, jam yesterday, jam tomorrow, no jam today. Why? Patience, learning the patience. Patience learn करना पड़ेगा. धीरज कैसे सीखोगे? कल जाम मिला था, कल भी आने वाले दिन भी टुमारो भी कल भी मिलेगा, मगर आज नहीं मिलेगा. Patience. Learning of patience. One of the biggest defect in our today's family institution is learning the धीरज. Patience नहीं सिखाते हैं बच्चों को. बच्चे ने मांगा, immediately हाथ में दे दिया. How will that kid's mind will be trained to wait? The learning of waiting. How can we wait? How can we learn? If that kid grows older and the kid has never got an experience or learning of waiting, dheeraj, patience, how that kid will be happy? Even though there are millions of dollars earned by that kid, when the kid becomes older, he will be still unhappy because the future aspirations are not available now. That is the word now. That one word now has got so much thinking behind it. So the words were favorable, liking, comfortable, and now. These 4 or 5 items are making the mind unstable. That is why children, teenagers, we are seeing that. So somebody will say, oh, you are telling Gita is only spirit. No, Gita is everyday. It is not only spiritual. It is everyday application. If we understand this level 2, then we will be able to train our kids in a better way. We see the kid and we see that whether the kid is using only organs, which is level 1, uncontrolled horses, or level 2, which is reins and horses, but still the decision is taken by the mind and not by the intellect. Such person becoming older, such person going in the society will become not a good citizen. They will decide with their mind. Selfish, मेरा हो जाना चाहिए, दूसरों का जो होता है होने दो. That is why फिर हम बोलेंगे जमाना बिगड़ गया. Then we will see new generation is not good. No, it is not new generation. It is our responsibility to see that how we are training them. Keep 2 hours in a week or 1 hour in a week, no telephone, no mobile, Wi-Fi will be off. No electricity in the house for 2 hours. Whatever you want to do, you do. I will just share an experience. It's my personal experience. Generally, I don't like to share because it looks like boasting. But what happened is that, I'm just sharing it. What happened is that my daughter was in grade 3, my younger daughter, and the teacher was English teacher. So English teacher told that there is an assignment. And the assignment was that you write a 5 or 10 sentences about your favorite TV program. Whatever program you are watching, favorite TV program, you write 10 sentences about it. And what happened is that when teacher told that, my daughter raised finger, said, Mom, madam. And the teacher asked, okay, what is happening? And she says that I do not watch any television program. And then all the kids in the class were also surprised. Oh, and then the teacher asked, why you don't watch any television? And my daughter says, because I don't have television in my house. We didn't keep any television till my kids become graduate in 12th grade. No television. And then all the students in the class laughed because they thought that it is either, they are very poor or they are very stupid, either of them, that they are not keeping. But the teacher was very, very intelligent. So teacher told that, oh, it's my mistake. I didn't consider this situation. This is also a possibility. So teacher asked in the class that, okay, raise all those kids who do not have the television at home, raise your finger. So there are a couple of more other kids also who raised their finger. And then teacher told, okay, then what do you do? And my daughter told, we watch, we read the book together, we play, we garden, we discuss about various points, you know, we do the stitching and all that. I mean, like entire number of the list she already told. And the teacher told all the kids that the parents of these kids are the most intelligent and sensible. Television is spoiling. It is reducing the capacity of intellect to raise. This is, I'm not boasting, but I'm sharing it. So it may not be possible all the time or to that much extent with everybody, but have some time. आज टीवी नहीं देखना है. And that will, what will happen? That will allow the intellect of the kid to control the mind. सारथी के हाथ में लगाम आएगी. Charioteer will be able to use the reins to control the action organs, horses. जभी तो control होगा. A new driver who doesn't know how to do the steering is going to bang the car somewhere. You need a controlled driver, right? So why not in life also? This is a psychological mechanism which we are learning. We should develop a stronger intellect. So that is level 2. What is that? Decision by the reins, that is the mind and the organs, which is not the ideal way. So what is the ideal way? The level 3, decision by the intellect. बुद्धि से डिसीजन, क्या अच्छा है, क्या बुरा है, क्या सही है, क्या गलत है. अगेंस्ट द विल. डिसीजन टू एक्ट अगेंस्ट द विल. मुझे बैठे बैठे खाना अच्छा लगता है, फ्राइड आइटम खाओ, मीठा मीठा खाओ. जिम जाना अच्छा नहीं लगता है. मगर इंटेलेक्ट विल से नो, यू मस्ट गो टू जिम, यू आर ओवरवेट, सो यू स्टैंड अप. इट विल टेल द लेग्स टू स्टैंड अप. It will tell the legs to walk, go in the car, drive the car, go to the gym and start workout. That is the decision which is taken by the intellect. It cannot be taken by the mind, because mind will always go with what? Favorable, comfortable, now, liking. Mind will always go there. So in the level 3, we already have that experience. What are they? Education, perseverance. Yeah. People have worked through their life, perseverance. Healthy habits. Exercises, eating good food, healthy food, all that. All those decisions are taken by the intellect, level 3. So this is a psychological. So we talked about the physiological part of the human body, actions and sensing, and we talked about the psychological part of the human senses. But point here is that God has used the word karma yoga. Means you are doing the action, but doing it as a yoga. जुड़ जाना. हाउ इज दैट? आसक्ति रहित, अनासक्ता. So what is the difference? How that mechanism of psychology and physiological mechanism of our body can be used as a karma and yoga? Because only karma is also not sufficient here. So the next sloka is coming where God is explaining us that what is the right way of doing the thing. Even though it is a right thing, right way of doing thing is different than right thing to do. So I will go to the next sloka and I will chant the sloka here. Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jayo ya karmana sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyeda karmana. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Niyatam constantly. Niyata means constantly. One who guru means perform. One who performs the karma. Which karma? Karma jayo ya karmana. Jaya ya karma. Whatever is prescribed, you should thus perform your prescribed Vedic duties, since action is superior to inaction, and by ceasing the activity, even your body maintenance will not be possible. That is what it means. So it is telling Sharira Yatra Pichate, to continue the work of the body. It will not, if we are telling that I will not do any work, will not be possible, because to continue the life you have to act. We have to act. In Hindi, तो शास्त्र विधि से नियत किए हुए कर्तव्य कर्म कर, क्योंकि कर्म न करने की अपेक्षा कर्म करना श्रेष्ठ है, तथा कर्म न करने से तेरा शरीर निर्वाह भी सिद्ध नहीं होगा. We cannot keep living. We cannot live. If we decide मुझे काम करना ही नहीं है, हाँ, somebody ask, okay, if I am doing a karma, then I am having a problem because karma will give me into a karma bandhan and karma phal. So I will not do any karma. हाँ, मैं कुछ करूँगा ही नहीं. Not possible. You cannot leave. Your body will ask you to move. You will feel thirst, hungry. You have to go to washroom. You cannot leave without doing an action. So that is not possible. That already we saw in the earlier slokas of the same chapter. So the other one is doing action is superior than inaction. That is another part. And there is no need to explain this part. Everybody, anybody who is grown up, ask them this question. Whatever you have gone through in your life, do you think that you can, if given an opportunity again, will you like to do it in a different way? And 99% of people will say, yes. अगर मुझे चांस मिले फिर से जिंदगी जीने का तो मैं अलग तरीके से जीऊंगा. You know, one of the biggest Hindi and Indian singer, Lata Mangeshkar, she has already died now, so we can talk about her. So once she was asked, Lata Mangeshkar, one of the biggest singer, she has sung thousands of songs and very excellent voice, God-given gift. When she was asked, if given a chance, will you like to live as a Lata Mangeshkar again? And she said, no, I don't want to live like Lata Mangeshkar. Even at that level also, she wanted to live as a different person. मुझे दूसरा कोई जन्म मिले, दूसरा अपॉर्चुनिटी मैं अलग तरीके से करूंगा. ये काम नहीं हुआ मेरे से, ये मैं नहीं कर सका या नहीं कर सकी. So here God is telling clearly, action is superior than inaction. Inaction में मत रहो, काम करना है करो. मैंने ये नहीं किया, मेरे से, you know, I always give the example and I will keep giving it. And this is a very important thing to know. I always give the metaphor, or rather the true situation of our one of the great character of Mahabharata, you know, Bhishma. When Bhishma is dying, when Bhishma is sleeping on the bed of arrow, what does it show? What does it give a message to us? Somebody can say, yeah, you know, he was hit with the arrow of Shikhandi and Arjun, and then he was sleeping on the bed and all this. Okay, as a part of the story or as a history, it is okay. But what does it give to me? Ask any old person why they are not able to sleep. Because they are finding always a repentance in their heart. मुझे ये करना था, वो मैंने नहीं किया. बुड्ढे को नींद नहीं आती. बुड्ढे को नींद नहीं आती. Even if he is a millionaire, he cannot sleep. I say. Even if that is the best bed in the world, he cannot sleep. वो बेड के ऊपर भी उसको एरो के जैसे चुभते हैं. मुझे ये करना चाहिए था, मैंने नहीं किया. किए हुए पाप और नहीं किए हुए पुण्य कर्मा, वो चुभते हैं वो वृद्ध को. नींद नहीं आती. And that is represented by the arrow bed of the Bhishma. द्रौपदी के वस्त्रहरण हो रहे थे, मैं चुप बैठा. रिपेंटेंस. लाक्षागृह में पांडवों को जलाने वाले थे, मुझे पता था, मैं नहीं बोला. जुआ खेलने के लिए बुलाया, मैंने नहीं रोका. All these things are repentance. Each arrow of not doing any action and doing a wrong action, both of these arrows are hitting the person, hitting the old person, and that is a bed of arrow for an old person who is on the verge of dying. Repentance. That is what is represented by the bow, by the the bed of arrows for Bhishma. That is what is represented. Anyway, so going further, so here it is told two things. One is we cannot live without doing any action, and second part is that action is better than inaction. So God is telling, perform your prescribed duties. Now this is very important part here, that I have to do my karma, but I have to do my karma in a prescribed duties. So how do I find my prescribed duty? नियतम का नियतम कुरु कर्मत्वम कर्म जायो यह कर्मणा, जायो यह कर्मणा. हाँ, whatever is told to you, whatever you are designed for, you do that. But how do I know? How do I know what I am designed for? So we understood the later part of the sloka first, that we cannot live without any action, and action is better than inaction. But going to the third part, the first part, niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayo ya karmana. What is that? So this is important to understand, and this is where it is exactly now coming to what we are guided. Why Shrimad Bhagavad Gita is such a beautiful book, such a pious book? Because it is guiding us exactly where and how we are supposed to be working. So physical body has to do action to survive. This is number one part. All actions which we call as a standard karma. हाँ, in our mind, karma is a very simple thing. जो करते हैं वो काम करते हैं. But that is very simple. Eating, sleeping, fear, sensual happiness. Animals go by the instinct, and that is why animals doesn't have the karma phal. Karma phal का भाग जो है सिद्धांत है वो एनिमल को लागू नहीं होता, क्योंकि उसको फ्री विल नहीं. दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई एनिमल्स आर बाय इंस्टिंक्ट. सो एनिमल से पाप नहीं होता. शेर अगर हिरन को मार देगा पाप नहीं होता, उसको जरूरत नहीं, उसको फ्री विल नहीं, उसको समझ में नहीं आता, और उसको जिंदा रहने के लिए खाना पड़ता है. सो ऑल द एक्शंस विच आर रिलेटेड एज एन एनिमल आर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द कर्मा. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सेंटेंस. All the actions which are related and similar to animal are not considered as a karma. That means what we have done till now, we have done study, then we go to the job, we earn money, we have got the family to raise, we have got the kids, we take care of our parents. All these things, does animal do? Yes. Animal also grow. Animal grow older. Animal also learn how to do the, how to get the food from somewhere by one or the other way. If it is a carnivorous or herbivorous animal, they learn. They also have family. They raise their kids. They do all the support to the kids to grow older. They take care of the kids, protect them. So whatever we do, what animals are doing, because animals are not karma bandhan, their actions are not called as a karma. If we are doing those things, it is also not a karma. It is not a karma for us or for anyone, because there is no free will connected to it. मैं सुबह उठा और मैंने ब्रश किया और मैं नहाने के लिए गया और मैं नहा के बाहर आया. Okay, a sparrow also wake up in the morning. A sparrow will go and take a bath in a little, a small pond or some shallow water basin, and then it is also now clean. What is the difference between a sparrow and a human being? Rather, it is possible, because sparrow can take a bath in a dirty water and still it is okay. We cannot, because we will fall sick. That's the only difference. But there is no difference between we take a bath and a sparrow taking bath in a pond. No difference. So when we say here, the God is telling, tu shastra vidhi se niyat hue kartavya karma kar. Niyat karma. Tera niyat karma kya hai? So animal karmas. So all those karmas which are related to animal are not, actions which are done are not karma. Take that all away. Take it all out. This is something very important. I always also say, that in the night, when we are while we are going to the bed, in the night, it is good to do the prayer before going to sleep. But you know what? Even if you are not doing prayer, it is not good, but it is okay. But at least think that in my whole day today, what are the actions which I did, which are related to animal and which are not related to animal. Subah utha, job par gaya, I went to the job, I earn money, I bring food for my family. Okay, animals also do it. Compare and then try to find at least one action item in life every day which you did, which is beyond animal. Even just asking that question is starting a correct direction. How to live in correct direction. Just asking that question is more than enough to start with. So, physical body actions related to animals are not karma. Yeah. And inactions are useless. Bhishma we talked about. So what are the Shastra Vidhi se niyat kiye hue karma? Prescribed duty. Prescribed duty means what? If all my actions like taking care of family and earning and making building and driving car and all that is related to animal, because I have to drive a car because I can't fly like an eagle. So to go to the job, I have to go in a car. To get a piece of meat, an eagle has to fly. Well, same, no difference. So if that is the case, then what is the niyat karma for me? What is prescribed duty for me? And this is exactly where, the two major, very major, debatable and completely misunderstood points are coming together. Imagine that we have reached a place which is called as a Triveni Sangam. Ganga, Yamuna or Saraswati ka Triveni Sangam is in this sloka, starting here. Exactly. Which are the three things? Varna Vyavastha, which has been completely misexplained and deliberately misexplained and misunderstood as a caste system. This is where it is coming. There is no up and down. There is no less and more. So, two things which will come here. Which are the two things? Varna Vyavastha and law of rebirth. Punarjanmaka Siddhant. Varna Vyavastha and Punarjanmaka Siddhant. These two things are combining to tell us. What to tell us? What is our kartavya karma? It is telling us what is my prescribed duty. What is my actions which are beyond animal actions. This is what is being explained here in this sloka. That is why they started. Shastra Vidhi se niyat kiye hue karmakar. That is what is explained. So, because it is a very important part, next time we will talk about this Varna Vyavastha and law of rebirth and the karma part. Triveni Sangam. That is why Ganga, Yamuna is Triveni Sangam. Yamuna, Yama, Niyama. Actually, if you take it also that way, it is Yama, Niyam. How my action should be there? Yam and Niyam. That is action. And Ganga with the intellect. And Saraswati for the action part. So, we will talk about it next time when we come again on Saturday between 10 to 11. And we will go further on this 8th sloka of Karma Yoga. Till then, I wish everyone a very happy weekend. It's an excellent weather outside, sunny day. Take some sun bath also, very healthy. And we will meet again next Saturday 10 to 11 at Durga temple. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramadhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah.